We are back on our Fight Network Year in Review show for 2016. John Pollock, John Ramdeen, and Robin Black with you. And up next, always a favorite, Knockout of the Year, with honorable mentions immediately to Robin Black's jacket. But we all have different picks for this one. And for mine, I'm going the Bellator direction. And we go back to June of this past year, and it was Michael Chandler, Patricky Pitbull Freite. I love just the simplicity of this. This was not some wild spinning head kick. This was just a right that sent Patricky's jaw out into the crowd in St. Louis. Just a perfect, fluid shot that I must have watched 50 times that night. Michael Chandler, as much as he has his wrestling base, it's his striking that I think it just continues to improve each year. And I've said it before, I think this is the most valuable asset in Bellator right now, their reigning lightweight champion, Michael Chandler. And that was just a thing of beauty.
Yeah, Michael Chandler is clearly one of the reasons to watch the Bellator organization. And it looked like after he landed that right cross, he was looking for a back fist as well. So Michael Chandler always thinking about the finish. Just one of the most exciting fighters out there. You would think to yourself, oh, imagine if this guy was in the UFC and all the cool matchups that we get to see. But that's one of the reasons why we tune into Bellator, because Michael Chandler is there, and every time he steps inside of the cage, he delivers, and he's a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, he sure is, man. I could talk about Michael Chandler forever. One of my absolute favorite fighters. That is a beautiful, beautiful knockout. There's a little bit of kinetic energy created with that little change of position, kind of exploding off the canvas, resetting, and boom, deep penetrating right hand. Congrats, Mike. That was a nice one.
My pick for fight of the night, knockout of the night. I was watching the fights with Way the night Michael Bisping became the middleweight champion. But before we got to that middleweight fight, we had the legend Dan Henderson taking on the former, you mentioned Michael Chandler, the Bellator champion, Dan Henderson taking on the former Bellator champion, and Hector Lombard, who is just such a menacing looking individual. We all had a feeling he'd do big things in the UFC, and that, as Robin puts, a grimy little elbow by Dan Henderson sends Hector Lombard reeling to the mat, and then he follows it up with another forearm. That's why you love Dan Henderson, is because he can do things like this in the middle of the fire.
Yeah, and just the awareness that comes with being a veteran, the awareness of where you are, where your weapons are compared to the target, in relation to the target. The weapon is the elbow, the target is the temple. What is the space between them, and how do you generate force? All of that happens in real time. Dan Henderson's badass.
Not to mention the fact that when that happened, I thought that would be upset of the year. It wasn't even upset of the night after Michael Bisping won the middleweight title that night. It was shocking, really, that Dan Henderson did that to Hector Lombard that night. But Robin, your choice is a different one altogether.
Yes, and you know, when I see something like this level of beauty, what I want to do is just go ahead and break it down, and that's what we're going to do. Baby, it's time for my knockout of the year, and this one goes to the groovy one, his grooviness, Lando Vannata. Oh yeah, it's the shallow, linear, and low to the deep, arcing, and high. Sensational. So many facets and layers to this knockout, so many ingredients. Groovy ingredients. Right from jump, Lando starts telling lies about his intentions, using throwaway kicks to lower the temperature of the threat. See, John, you don't need to fear my kicks, man. They barely reach you, and I don't have much pepper on them anyways. But this is a lie. It's pattern imprintation, and it's rhythmically setting a trap. Low, non-threatening, linear. It's a trap, John. It's a trap. And then the knockout just comes. The low side kick distracts, yes, but it has another great purpose too. It's a range finder. You know you're in range for the spinning hook kick when you're touching, and bam. Catching John moving to his right, that's a great bonus too. Not mandatory this, but a welcome bonus. Check this out now. John actually gets a read on the right hip rotation. Spectacular vision in real time, and must guess if it's a spinning hook kick or turning side kick. It's high stakes, high impact, rock, paper, scissors, played in a fraction of a second. John goes scissors, and it's rock. Fighting can be cruel, yet so beautiful. Lando Vannata, ladies and gentlemen, the grooviest knockout of the year. Congratulations, Groovy Lando.